Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we try to deliver the crucial knowledge you need to navigate complexity. Today, we're diving into something huge, probably the biggest, fastest, and, well, most irreversible transformation hitting the professional world right now,
Mm.
the era of artificial intelligence. We're using a critical new body of work as our guide, Robert Meyer's analysis on future skills, kind of like our navigator for this seismic shift. Our mission today is really to distill the core competencies you absolutely need to prioritize, both for you as an individual worker and, for the strategic health of your organization, just to stay relevant in the next decade.
And that need for relevance, it's
Yeah.
immediate. The source material we're looking at makes it really clear. This combination of AI, digitalization, automation, it's not some slow tide. It's being described quite starkly as an unstoppable flood. It's fundamentally reshaping every single job role, every value chain.
Yeah.
We're definitely moving past the theoretical debates now. So this deep dive, it aims to provide a practical roadmap. We're looking at it from three indispensable perspectives.
Yeah.
The organizational strategy piece, the individual skills needed, and then the practical application of AI itself to build those skills.
Okay, let's dig into that speed aspect. We've seen big tech shifts before, right? The Industrial Revolution, the internet. But what makes this AI transformation so different? The analysis really stresses its sheer, almost breathtaking speed.
Exactly.
It's not just a niche tool anymore, is it, for data scientists or
Yeah.
whatever?
No, not at all. It's rapidly becoming what economists call a general-purpose technology. Think electricity or the internal combustion engine. It permeates everything,
Right.
from writing code to, well, writing emails.
Mhm.
And because of that, the scale of disruption is just massive. The data shock, you can measure it. Sources are estimating, get this, up to 80% of all employees will see at least a tenth of their daily tasks influenced, maybe augmented, maybe even replaced by large language models like ChatGPT.
80%. Wow. That's staggering. But
Yeah.
that's just influence. Then there's the bit that really changes the game. Nearly 19% of workers. That's almost 1 in 5. Could see half or more of their entire working day fundamentally changed by these technologies. We're talking whole functions maybe disappearing or merging almost overnight, it feels like.
It does feel like that. But it's important to clarify the likely outcome here. The analysis doesn't predict the end of work per se. It frames it more as a massive professional migration.
Okay.
Take the McKinsey prognosis for Germany, for example. They estimate around 3 million people will need to change careers entirely by 2030.
Wow.
They won't just learn a new software tool, they'll need a completely new occupation.
That totally reframes the whole skills conversation then. It's
Yeah.
a shift in focus, not necessarily just jobs vanishing, routine tasks, even highly qualified ones.
Right.
Like drafting memos or initial research, they're getting automated. So if the machine handles that analysis, what gets revalued? What becomes more important?
It's the skills that remain deeply human, the ones that are really hard to automate. Think creativity, social intelligence, and complex critical thinking. The future value proposition seems to be in the symbiosis between human and machine. Our job shifts, from just executing tasks to asking the right questions, interpreting complex results, managing human relationships.
And the tools themselves, ironically, might be the easier part of the transition. There's a great personal example in the source about a consultancy bringing in AI tools. They saw these incredible efficiency boosts, 40% faster offer creation, 60% faster research, amazing numbers.
Rising numbers, but the key takeaway wasn't really the software itself. That success, it required intensive, sustained training, dozens of hours. And crucially, a profound cultural shift within the organization. The most advanced tools are, frankly, useless without the organizational culture and the individual competence to master them.
Right.
You need to prompt them correctly, critically evaluate their output, all that.
Okay, so to navigate this new landscape, we clearly need a map. The source provides a really useful structure, defining these future skills as like an essential toolkit for this unpredictable world. What are the core layers in this toolkit?
Yeah, the model uses 3 levels, basically classifying competencies by where they have the most impact. We start with the base layer, which is just crucial for, well, survival. The personal foundation, this covers your individual strength, resilience, that psychological robustness alongside self-reflection, discipline, time management. Without this foundation, the constant stress of change just burns people out.
Makes sense. Then you move out from the individual to the group. What about teams? What makes them effective in this kind of high-speed environment?
That's the second level. Team abilities or social competencies, this is about excellent communication, complex collaboration, especially across diverse teams now, and modern leadership. Significantly, leadership has to be based on trust and empowerment, not the old command and control model, especially when, half your team might be remote and augmented by AI tools.
Okay, personal, team. What's the third level?
The third level is organizational or transformative competencies. These are kind of the steering skills for the whole ship. This includes deep data competence, crucial cybersecurity awareness, because more data equals more risk, obviously, and agile innovation methods. These are the skills that let a company pivot, adapt, not just survive.
So those three levels, personal, team, organizational, fetch a soul, they cover the functional skills. But hang on, before we move on, what about the underlying software we run on? What enables all those skills to change and adapt so quickly?
Good point. That's where the meta skills come in. They're described as the true superpowers, maybe the operating system for your career. They enable everything else. The key triad here is learning competence, critical thinking, and adaptivity.
It sounds almost too simple, but if that analysis is right, that the half-life of technical knowledge is now under 5 years,
Yeah,
then the ability to learn how to learn just becomes the single most valuable skill you can have, doesn't it? If you can't constantly update your knowledge base, everything else just expires.
absolutely. And that leads us nicely into drilling down on the specific technical side of that learning curve. Let's start with digital literacy, what the source calls the modern form of, alphabetization.
Okay.
This is just the basic ability to use digital technology safely, critically, and productively. And there's an alarming gap here. The Bitkom 2024 study highlighted that an alarming 67% of German employees show gaps in these basic digital skills.
67%. Wow.
Yeah. And we're not talking about writing code here. This is
Yeah.
about not knowing how to use everyday digital tools securely or effectively. That's a massive risk to economic competitiveness.
You'd think by 2024, most organizations would have this sorted. But yeah, 67% suggests otherwise. The business case for fixing it seems pretty immediate, though. There's that example of the medium-sized machine builder in Baden-Württemberg.
That's a great case.
They launched a digital literacy offensive, and the outcome wasn't some abstract benefit. Their IT support tickets dropped by 30% almost straight away, and productivity in projects that cross departments up by 25%. Just because people knew how to use the tools properly, it stops wasting time.
Exactly. And moving beyond just basic tech use, we get to data literacy described as the lingua franca of the 21st century. Everyone says data is the new oil, right?
Right.
But the analysis really stresses that raw data is pretty useless until it's refined.
So data literacy is this new universal language. What are the fundamental grammar rules we need to master? How do we become fluent for the modern workplace?
That's a great analogy. There's basically a four-stage process that's essential. First, collecting. You need the competence to critically assess the quality and relevance of your data sources. Garbage in, garbage out, right?
Okay.
Second is analyzing, finding the crucial signal in the noise using the right tools. Third is interpreting, understanding patterns, recognizing biases, especially our own human ones, and extracting actual meaning. And finally, the critical fourth stage, which often gets overlooked, is communicating. This is data storytelling, using the findings to actually convince stakeholders, drive action.
Yeah.
The urgency is clear. One study predicts 89% of all specialists and executives will need advanced data competence by 2030. It's just not optional anymore.
And that flows right into the fastest growing skill requirement, AI literacy. The source forecasts something like 120% growth by 2030. What's the end game here? Are we all supposed to become prompt engineers?
Prompt engineering is really just the entry level. The highest stage of maturity is what's called AI integration. That means the seamless, strategic embedding of AI systems into your daily workflows, your decision-making. The user shifts from operating next to AI to truly collaborating with it.
That seamless integration, that sounds like it requires a lot of trust. There's a powerful example in the material from ServiceNow, isn't there?
Right.
With their Freighty tool.
Yes, the Freighty case study. They rolled out this internal AI tool for code generation and documentation. Within just 1 month, 65% of their workforce was actively using it.
65% in a month is fast adoption.
Very fast. And the ROI speaks for itself. 200% ROI reported and a 28% reduction in errors in code and documentation. But what's fascinating, I think, is that the tool acted like a permanent mentor. Users learned advanced programming concepts, documentation, best practices, implicitly just by collaborating with the AI. Their skills developed without formal training sessions.
That ROI sounds amazing, but let me pause you there. What's the hidden cost, or maybe the biggest challenge? Is the main barrier getting the tech integrated, or is it getting employees to actually trust the AI, to let go of their old manual ways?
Yeah, the sources really confirm the key barrier is overwhelmingly human. It's cultural skepticism, it's the lack of literacy we talked about, and just that inherent human resistance to relying on a machine for tasks we used to, take pride in doing ourselves.
Right.
You can install the software, but you can't just install trust. That takes those social competencies, that leadership we discussed earlier.
That shift in focus brings us right back to the irreplaceable human factor then. As machines get better at analysis and automation, human success seems to hinge more and more on emotional intelligence, EQ. McKinsey predicts a 26% growth in demand for that.
And we have hard business evidence now that EQ isn't just a nice to have, it's a strategic resource. An AWS study from 2023 showed leaders with high EQ achieve, on average, 20% better business results.
20%, that's significant.
It is, and they fostered 40% higher employee satisfaction. EQ generally breaks down into four areas: self-awareness, self-regulation, social awareness, which includes empathy, and relationship management. These are just non-negotiable for collaborative success today.
What's really interesting, almost paradoxical, is how the source suggests that the cold analytical power of AI could actually help us become more effective in these soft skills. That seemed like an unlikely team up.
It does, doesn't it? But AI systems, say through sentiment analysis of communications, or by creating personality profiles based on data-driven communication preferences, they can give us measurable feedback on how we interact. Tools like Crystal or Humantic AI, they essentially provide data-driven insights into human communication styles and preferences.
So the data helps sharpen our human intuition. We stop just guessing if our email tone landed right or if a team member seems stressed. We get actual data to tailor our approach more proactively.
Exactly. Empathy stops being this vague, soft skill and becomes something you can actually measure and strategically improve for better outcomes. It's a measurable factor for success.
Okay, now we arrive at what feels like the core reality of this whole transformation, that half-life of technical skills being under 5 years.
Yeah.
That just means the whole idea of a finished education, you graduate and you're done, it's fundamentally obsolete, isn't it? We are all officially operating in a permanent beta stage.
Absolutely. And this rapid obsolescence, it demands revolutionary shifts in how organizations actually facilitate learning. Those traditional multi-day seminars, they just don't cut it anymore. Too slow, too inefficient.
So what replaces them?
We're seeing the necessity of more agile, integrated formats. Things like microlearning. Short, super focused units, maybe 5 to 15 minutes long. Sources show they can boost retention by up to 80%.
80% is huge. We're also seeing the rise of just-in-time learning, right? Where knowledge gets delivered exactly when you need it, maybe prompted by an AI assistant while you're working.
Precisely. Delivered at the moment of need. And crucially, we have to actively foster social learning. The analysis confirms this accounts for a massive 70% of professional learning.
70%, wow.
Yeah, it happens informally, through communities of practice, mentoring, just shared problem solving. Organizations need to intentionally design environments that actually maximize that kind of exchange.
And tying this back to those meta skills we talked about, the ultimate personal strategy here seems to be cultivating learning how to learn, metacognition, right? The ability to consciously watch and optimize your own learning process.
Research backs this up intensely. People with strong metacognitive skills learn around 40% more effectively, simply because they consciously choose the right learning strategy for the task instead of just passively reading or watching something.
So are there practical ways listeners can start doing that today? Optimizing their own learning.
Definitely. You can start using simple science-backed techniques right away. For long-term memory, look into spaced repetition. That's reviewing material over increasing time intervals. It really works.
Okay.
And for deeper understanding, you need active recall. That means forcing yourself to retrieve knowledge from memory rather than just passively looking at the page or your notes again. These are like your psychological frameworks for actually dominating this permanent beta stage.
Okay, so let's try and synthesize this. What does this huge stack of analysis really mean for you, the listener, right now? The core message seems clear. The future demands this powerful blend. You need to cultivate those irreplaceable human meta skills, your EQ, your adaptivity, your critical thinking, and combine that with a fluent technical command of the digital language, meaning AI and data literacy.
Exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the societal level, think about the scenario where this augmented workforce actually leads to maybe a generalized 4-day work week because of massive productivity gains.
That's the optimistic view.
It is. But then the focus shifts, doesn't it? From pure efficiency to responsibility. The key challenge then becomes ensuring we prioritize human-AI interaction design, making these systems genuinely beneficial, usable, safe, and establishing robust ethical governance. Think of efforts like the IBM Watson AI Ethics Board.
Right.
This kind of institutional responsibility is absolutely essential to make sure this immense new power is used fairly, transparently, and that we mitigate things like algorithmic bias before they cause widespread social or business harm.
So we really encourage you to reflect on this. Using some of the frameworks we've discussed today, maybe consider your own skills confidence index. What are the 2 or 3 most critical skills, whether they're personal, social, digital, that you need to prioritize right now to navigate this permanent beta stage successfully? It really feels like time to stop waiting for the next revolution and start leading your own skill transformation. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.